What if gods weren't born, but crafted, woven from the very fabric of existence itself? In my story, the gods play a significant role in the creation of the mortal realm, but not how you might expect. The first of the gods is Ariseos, the god of space. He isn't space as you know it, but space as a construct, the empty area something resides. His long cloak creates, or more accurately is, the area where the cosmos themselves reside. He is forced to walk the infinite expanse for all of eternity, constantly expanding the area we dub the Ethereum. Mortals know this area as the multiverse. The second of the gods is Ephemerals, the god queen. She found herself alone in the vast emptiness of Ariseos' domain. Within her resides the power of creation in its purest form. Together, they created the first of all things in this realm, light. From their union, Braun was born, the god of light, and the very first embodiment of all creation. See, Braun is Ephemerals' pride and joy, her first child. It seems even gods aren't above parental favoritism. But this being does hold significance. He is presumed to be a pillar of the trestle of planes, a completely separate topic that we will cover later. Then came Sephrith, the goddess of sound. The second manifestation. She is sound as a fundamental force, not just an audible frequency, which gives way to a deeper concept we must cover. You see, there was another god born during this time, and not too many know of his existence. That is because he was not directly created, rather a side effect of Ephemerals' pressure against the domain. You see, when she created Sephrith, these waves and ripples followed, thus giving birth to Oscillatus, the god of vibration. Not much is known of this entity, though he is exceedingly powerful. Some speculate even more so than his own mother. But how could this be? How could a god be born from the residual effects of another? Are they not all powerful beings that stand alone in their own right? If you asked this question, you'd be right in your assumptions, for these gods are not gods at all. These entities are what's known as ephemerals. In order for something to be a god, it must be the start, middle, and end point of all things connected to it. Meaning if a true god of light were to die, then in an instant, all light would cease to exist. However, if Braun were to perish, we would find that little to no effect would be had on the lives of mortals, and the concept of light itself would continue uninhibited by his passing. In fact, we would find that the balance of energy may even be restored. Stay with me now. So from this, we may ascertain that these beings are merely living constructs, representations of concepts that hold this realm together, controlling, creating, and even destroying their respective concept, but they are not it. Now that you understand this, you will come to understand why these horrific beings I will now show you exist in the first place. From the combined might of Sephrith and Oscillatus, we came to discover the beauty and the horror. From these seeds of creation, the Pantheon grew. Known to the mortals as the three-armed god, but more formally known as Iro, the god of gravity. He is merciless and unyielding. He maintains the balance within the mortal realm with an iron fist, crushing, crashing, and pulling against the void. Despite the violence of his might, he is necessary for the natural process of creation and in aiding Chineron, the goddess of matter. Her meticulous hand filled the cosmos with substance and diversity. Her precision gave form to the void and a refuge for the living. Not a single point was off, lest the fine balance they had achieved would come tumbling down. However, not all of it is necessity. From these beings' residual energy was born a being with little to no morality, an entity of monstrous proportion and even more grotesque intentions. Retreus, are more commonly referred to by the mortals as the Banshee God. If you caught chills, you are right to do so. His dominion lies not in harmony, but in the dreadful shriek that rends all to ruin. There is no rhyme or reason to this entity, he is merely fear. His voice is no mere sound, but an unraveling force, a weapon of pure resonance that unthreads the very fabric of creation. When Retreus looses that monstrous howl, he embodies the dread of the void. To hear him is to confront annihilation, a black hole inversed, tearing apart flesh, matter, and soul alike. This being reigns over audible destruction as a true force of primal fear. We have documented this god wreaking havoc on the very mortals that worshipped it, merely because it could. Next, we have an entity that is just as harrowing, but serves a legitimate purpose in the mortal realm. Without it, nothing could continue to exist, and the current issue of energy balance we are currently facing would be infinitely worse. Ignaroth, the god of decay, the necessary end to all things. We've observed this god in several forms across the multiverse, these three being the most common. It is not unheard of for gods to shapeshift, but this one rarely takes on its true form. The reasons are unknown to us. We haven't seen it much, but we believe it represents the concept of entropy. From the original Pantheon were birthed lesser gods, but do not let the title fool you. These entities can be just as powerful, if not more so. One in particular has eluded us and caused many an issue. Thor, previously known as the god of thunder. He met his end when battling the world serpent. He was resurrected by Ephemerals herself to join her main pantheon, among others, like Ra, the god of suns. Unlike Brawn, this Ephemeral's power is isolated to the might of stars, or Gota, the glass god, his name ringing through the realms as legend, as a harbinger of cosmic disarray, and a lesser god in name only, his appropriate honorific being the god of fragmentation. We have documented this entity shattering, yes, you heard me right, shattering reality itself at will and using the shards as he pleases. You would be wise to keep your distance and take none of them lightly. Now, I'm sure by this point, the biggest question in all of your minds is where do these ephemerals come from? Or more accurately, who created them? And that is a question not easily answered. The history is long, but I suppose a summation of the events lies within the story of how it all began. In the beginning, the true beginning, there existed but two kinds of beings, the primordials and the hierarchy. Little to nothing is known of their origins, but we do know that there was discourse among them, and this led to a brutal conflict you will all come to know as the Great Celestial War. Now, I don't want to get into that too much. We have much to cover in other lessons before that can be discussed, and more importantly, understood. The most important takeaway from today's lesson is the effect of the ephemerals on the mortal realm, and why it is so important that you know this. As many of you may know, ascendant fissures threaten to tear all of existence apart, not just the mortal realm, and the gods are not cooperating in our efforts to fix things. Their reckless use of energy is causing a surge of fissure activity in the mortal and god realms. Which brings us to our closing statements and solution. Our prospective third pillar, Dawn and Kalik. Per the INFINIUM prophecy, he is the only opposition to the fifth pillar, Brawn, the aforementioned god of light. We must continue to follow his movements and report to the guild. If you would like to aid in our efforts, a realm is being created just for you. But be warned, this isn't for everyone. A task this perilous is one crafted only for the bold.